Mercy Education Project was initially created to provide after-school tutoring for grade school girls in a poor neighborhood in Detroit. But we soon realized that children were going home to parents who couldn't read. So we began a GED program for women. And like so many other women in Southwest Detroit, Melanie, one of our former students, quit school in the 9th grade. She was pregnant. Most of her friends had dropped out, and she thought she already knew everything she needed to know. Until a few years later, when her daughter asked for help with homework. Melanie felt humiliated that she couldn't help her daughter. Eventually, both mother and daughter came to Mercy Education Project. Melanie passed the GED, and her daughter, now in high school, still participates in MEP's programs for girls. She's also working part-time and plans to go to college. And that's our goal, to help students find the education and life skills they need so they can move out of poverty. Our objective is to help low-income women and girls gain the skills they need to be successful in school and into the future. For girls, that means graduating from high school, ready to start college, job training, or employment. Many area schools aren't doing that, but we're here to make sure it happens. When we saw that so many girls in the neighborhood were dropping out of high school, we expanded our tutoring program to run through 12th grade, so girls would stay in school, and they are. When we started our GED program, we discovered that most of the women were reading below the 5th grade level, far below what they needed to study for the GED. So we began literacy and adult basic education programs. Now we see that passing the GED isn't enough. Students need help in making a successful transition to college, job training, or employment. We learn about the challenges our students face by listening to them. Then we research and create the programs they need to achieve their goals. We need resources to develop new programs to help children and adults who are poor and struggling to get out of poverty. The U.S. Department of Education estimates that 47% of Detroit adults are functionally illiterate. Mercy Education Project provides highly structured and highly individualized programs to address individual learning needs. We don't just offer homework help to girls. We teach them the concepts and skills they need so that eventually they can do their own homework. And we don't just teach someone how to pass the GED. We teach the concepts and skills our students missed. The math, reading, writing, and thinking skills they need, not just to pass a test, but to become employed and to support their families and their children's education. One of our recent graduates came back to thank us and make a donation because she said, "Now I have a job, I have a car, and I have Blue Cross Blue Shield." Our students say that two things make us different from other programs they've been in: our focus on teaching and our caring environment. We combine high expectations, structured programs, and willingness to work with students to meet individual needs. And we measure outcomes to make sure that our programs actually do help people improve their skills. We also expect students to show respect and support for one another. And we occasionally take time to have a little fun and celebrate successes. Our volunteers say we're well organized and our environment is professional. And we think that will help our students feel at home later when they're in the workplace. We start by testing all students to see where their learning gaps are. We tailor programs to meet their needs, and then we measure outcomes. We track attendance and use validated tools, such as the Test of Adult Basic Education, or the RAT, the Wide Range Achievement Test, to measure student progress. Since 2000, every 8th grader in our tutoring program has gone on to high school, unlike many of their peers. On average, girls improve 1 grade level or more in math or reading for each year they're in the tutoring program. They weren't making that much progress before they came to MEP. More than 95% of the women who complete our GED program pass the GED. even though half of them have failed in other GED programs. And almost 80% of our GED graduates go on to college, job training, or employment. Our students have already experienced too much educational failure by the time they come to Mercy Education Project. We're here to help them succeed. One of the questions people often ask is why we serve only girls and women. There is evidence that same-sex education benefits girls who may dumb down if they think it isn't cool to be smart. We believe that people struggling with learning don't need one more distraction. The women in our programs tell us how much they appreciate the same-sex environment and enjoy the freedom from burdens associated with having males in the classroom. Mercy Education Project's major accomplishments are that our students are staying in school, improving their achievement, and going on to higher education, employment, or job training. But our successes are also recognized in the broader community. In 2011, MEP was chosen as one of only 9 literacy partners by ReadingWorks, an alliance of media and business to improve adult literacy and employment in Detroit. In 2010, our Workforce Development Program received a Champions in Action Award from Charter One Bank and Channel 7. Another accomplishment is that we have been able to connect with more businesses, individuals, and organizations that now help support our programs. One of our historical challenges was that some years ago, Mercy Education Project was largely dependent on a few government grants. In 1 year, 2 of our major funding programs ended, eliminating a third of our budget. With this blow, it looked like we'd have to end the women's GED program. Instead, we developed and implemented a more diversified fundraising model. We increased individual giving by more than 1,000%, began a successful fundraising event, cultivated strong corporate support, and improved visibility. Consequently, we've been able to add new programs and enroll more students while continuing to improve outcomes. In spring of 2013, Mercy Education Project had to turn away every adult student on our waiting list. We were simply out of space. Our strategic plan calls for growth each year, and to achieve that, we need resources to move to a larger space and renovate it to provide a positive learning environment, increase staff, and develop or expand programs. We've learned that our adult students need more support to make the transition from passing the GED to successfully entering college, employment, or job training, and our Career Navigator program would provide this help. Mercy Education Project would dramatically expand the number of students we serve and consider replicating our model in other locations. We would also develop ways to improve outcome measurement and the long-term tracking of student accomplishments. We could provide greater assistance to our graduates to support their transition to and success in post-secondary education. By keeping in touch with former students, we would learn more about their successes as well as the challenges they've faced and overcome. Our students, at all levels, need to develop better writing skills. We could add that program. Finally, we could explore the education of younger children so they get off to a better start.